Hey everybody, Bridget here. So I was thinking long and hard about what kind of video I wanted to do next. I really wanted to record something today, but I didn't want to do like the typical. So I was talking to my boyfriend and I was saying how much I want him to read. He's not a reader at all, and he's like the manly man, oh, men don't read, which is totally not true, but that's his thought process. So after having that conversation with him, I actually got an idea from it. And so that I would do my top 10 books I would recommend to a guy. This one is particularly for guys who are more like, oh, I'm too macho to read type, or oh, that's so dorky, I don't read. Those kind of guys. So these are the 10 books. Well, let's get going. The first one I would recommend is Divergent by Veronica Roth. This book, although it does have romance in it, it's jam-packed with action and chaos and epicness, and yes, so that one would be my first choice for recommendation. Second one I would recommend is Death Note by Obat Tsugumi. This one is a manga, so I figured, some people just don't like reading without pictures. This particular story is a mystery thriller, really dark, mysterious. You just basically are watching a character grow more evil. That's the gist of this story. A good guy and a bad guy struggle, and a lot of the point of view is through the bad guy, who at first was not a bad guy. He started off with good intentions, and he just grew darker and darker and darker until he became the epitome of evil. I think that's a really good storyline for a guy who doesn't really like to read. So there's lots of pictures, not that hard. Really good story. The third one I would recommend is not typically this one, but I picked up Day of the Dragon by Richard A. Knaak, which is a Warcraft novel. I'm not saying that they have to particularly pick up this book, but my boyfriend plays World of Warcraft all the time, so I figured he would like to read this kind of thing. This is more like me saying, if you are a guy who doesn't like to read, or you are a girl and your boyfriend doesn't really like to read, but he plays there's book series out there for Halo, there's Warcraft ones, there's all kinds of other video game books that I think, if given a try, they could really, really like it. The next book I would recommend is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. This is book 1 in the Song of Ice and Fire series. For those guys out there who just really, really like this show, the book could be a really, really good choice to go to. Now, I have not read this book yet, but I have seen a few episodes of the show, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that like the show, and I think if they were to try the book, they would find themselves liking it even more, because I'm sure there's more detail in the storyline and stuff like that. And if you like that show, or any other show that's based off of a book, I would definitely recommend. The next one I would recommend is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Now, I haven't started this series myself, but I've heard a lot of really good things about it, and it seems to be really popular with the people who are Harry Potter fans, and there are quite a lot of Harry Potter fans that read that series, but nothing else, so this could be something that they could get into if they wanted another book series like that. I'm not saying it's anything like Harry Potter, but a book series that they could immerse themselves into. The next book I would recommend to you guys is The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. Zombies. Zombie apocalypse, basically. So, really creepy, really awesome. What guy doesn't like zombies? The next book that I would recommend is Gone by Michael Grant. This is the first book in the Gone series, World Without Grown-Ups. I have not started this series myself either, but I really, really want to get to it, and it just seems like something that anybody could enjoy. Guy, girl, anybody. The next one I would recommend is The Maze Runner series by James Dashner. Now, I have the first book, but it's being lent to a friend, so I just pulled the prequel out. This is the prequel, The Kill Order. Really, really awesome series. So good. There is nonstop action, 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 and questions every which way. At the end of every chapter in the first book, I remember having just even more questions than I started off with. So I think guys would really, really go for that. The next book that I chose to recommend is one I have yet to read myself, but it just seems really interesting, and it seems like something that would be epically awesome for guys to read. And that is Ex-Heroes by Peter Klein. Basically, it says it is The Avengers meets zombies. The Avengers is like my boyfriend's favorite, meets zombies, which any guy likes zombies. Zombies, superheroes, the perfect guy lit. Does that make sense? Like chick lit, guy lit literature. Yeah. And then the last book that I would recommend, I am also lending it out to a friend, and that one is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, which I will picture now. This book is one of my absolute favorites, and everybody and anybody who I've recommended it to, whether they're avid readers or not, has liked this book if they actually tried it. But basically, the story is about an online game player. Who wouldn't want to read a book about playing video games? It's full of adventure and awesomeness, and I keep saying epicness, but this is like the book, the number one adventure book, tops. It has been one of my favorite reads so far this year, and I am really, really looking forward to getting my copy back from my friend. So, yeah, give it back to me. Just kidding. You're good. Take your time. Read it thoroughly. So those are all the books that I would recommend to guys or just non-readers, those burly men who feel like reading is for dorks. Yeah, go out and try these books and then tell me what you think. If you have read any of the books I've mentioned or have any other books that you think would fit in this category, please feel free to either leave comments below, or if you'd like, leave a response video of more books that you think I could recommend to my boyfriend or any other dude that doesn't think reading is cool. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.